Casey says that one thing for certain parents need to start parenting. Yeah, yeah, that is something. Here's what's tricky about that, right? Parents need to start parenting. And then let's say that your child, when a child is not in sight of the parent, these kids have been raised to, in many instances, not listen to other adults. So when I was young, even if it wasn't our parents and other adults were in the vicinity and saw us, messing up, being disrespectful, they could correct us and we would listen. We would respect other adults. Like, okay, like straighten up. It's like, yeah, that's somebody's mother right there, that kind of thing. Now it's kind of like, you ain't my mother, you ain't my father, you can't tell me nothing, that kind of thing. And this attitude has really just spread. So we have kids, young ones, I'm talking about kids, juveniles, that they're only going to listen to their parents if they listen to them. Right? They may not even listen to them. If they say something that they don't like, the parent says something they don't like. So we have this whole culture. Back in the day, me and my friends, I lived on Bernice Avenue, where I grew up. I lived the third house from the corner. Now, the lady on the corner, Miss Elizabeth, she has since passed on, but she was one of those ladies where as though you couldn't just stand in front of her house and just be talking and making noise. She coming outside like, you're from in front of my house kind of thing. And we'd be like, oh, she's outside, whatever. We wasn't talking to her crazy when she told us get from in front of her house, right? Because we like to stand, near the corner part. And so she's not move that in front of your house, right? Okay, that's fine. And then, of course, my mother didn't want us standing in front of my house either. So then we would go to the field or walk around the neighborhood or go to the basketball court, whatever. My point is that Miss Elizabeth on the corner of Bernice would tell people, don't stand in front. And she had a big house, so she had like a big gate, and like people would like to lean on the gate and all that kind of stuff. And nobody talked crazy to her. Even the street, the street fellas in the neighborhood, everybody respected her. And there were others. She ain't the only, older folk in the neighborhood that was telling kids what to do. But my point is that we listened and respected older people. And for some, I don't know where it happened at, but along the way, adults started to not be respected. And parents, it was parents that was telling them, you ain't got to listen to them. I'm your mother, that kind of thing. Let me have disrespected an adult and my parents found out about it. It wasn't my parents that got disrespected. They just heard about it. I would be in trouble, right? I'm feeling crazy just thinking about doing it. What would have happened to me back in the day? These kids now don't have that fear. So we need to have this meeting of the minds with parents, adults, and then, so now an adult can see some kids messing up in the street, some young kids, right? Just getting off the school bus, just messing around. And they're scared to almost correct them because of what the backlash could be. What is this kid going to say back? What, that kind of thing. And Drew Bean says today she getting cussed out. You're absolutely right. Today, Miss Elizabeth would get cussed out. She would get cussed out. And the parents of the child now, they would co-sign it. Yeah, don't be talking to my kid. Don't be saying nothing to my child. And then these children grow up and then they become adults. And then their behavior is crazy, right? There was they often say it takes a village. And that is a true story. It takes a village. You're not going to always be in the presence of your kids. So who's going to help you? If you tie the hands of the other village members, then a child is going to grow up that is a deviant. So all of these kids that are rowdy, not behaved, a lot of it could have been corrected if the parents allow correction from other adults. When they go to school, it's the same thing. When they go to school. Yeah, and you hear me talking about the way the school system is structured here in Baltimore. But I'm just saying that a lot of times the teachers can't correct the students in the way that they need to be corrected. Once again, I got to go back. When I was in school, teachers could correct us. I got in trouble a whole bunch of times. Just dumb stuff. Not like real bad stuff. Just this dumb stuff. Mischievous, regular kid stuff, right? And if a teacher pulled me up, a teacher said something, we listened. We weren't cussing the teacher out. It wasn't like that. But that has been lost. That has been lost. We got to get that back. Because if we don't get that back, we are literally just running in place. We're running in place because the next generation that's coming up now, though, we got to focus on them. We really have to focus on them, and there has to be some type of a concerted effort here. Casey says, and so we have violence in the streets and children being played to rest and parents crying and setting up GoFundMe. Yes, all of this stuff happens. All of this stuff happens. That's why I wanted to bring Angela Roberts on to talk about life insurance, because in a lot, we're not preparing. We're not preparing the kids for life. We're not preparing the kids that sometimes things not going to go your way. We're not preparing the kids to listen to authority. We're not preparing the kids financially, mentally, none of that. We're just sitting them in front of a computer or giving them a tablet or giving them a cell phone, and we just sit them down, and they literally are just on their own. Whatever they can scroll and find and whatever their dumb friends tell them, that's, in a lot of instances, that's where the information is coming from. That's where the information is coming from. Sad state of affairs. Sad state of affairs.